Okay, so live streaming has started. Um, Let me see. I've even forgotten. Local host. I think was this what we were using. Presently, my example is not on yet, so I have to turn on my exam. I have to turn on my Apache and my database. Yes. So now that boot is on, let me stop this and start again. Yep. And okay. Yeah, so this is my index. I think I'm back on this. Okay. So this is my index page that is displaying all the products that I have directly from the
Yeah, I'm seeing
database.
your screen, boss. Boss, yeah, I'm seeing your
Hey,
screen.
I've never started sharing my screen. Okay. I'm sorry. So no, that's not it. Entire screen. Okay, also allow stem audio. I think that's it. Yeah, so you can see it now. Come on. Yep.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I just opened this. Yeah, I think we're back on track. So I was saying this is our index page, and just like I've explained earlier, we added the more info function where you can see the complete details about this particular product, and then here it is. We can decide to add pictures to it or add several other details to it later on. We can click on edit here, and edit will take us to a form that looks like the add a product form. But what makes this one different is the fact that it already has a value imputed already in the input space. And the values that are imputed here are the exact details gotten from what? From the database that has the ID 1. Okay, yeah. And then here we have a text area, and then clicking on updates, it will submit the details and what updates this particular details. Okay, so another thing that could be done is add a delete button. We can decide to add a delete button, which is what I want to explain today. And the delete will just take out everything that concerns this particular ID away from the database. And let me show you my database first. Clicking admin, my database will show. Why is it taking this long? Why is it taking this long? Anyways, let's think about this. Where will I put my delete button? In this particular page, if I show her the delete button, it will be too easy to quickly delete, which is not right. But clicking on more info that is showing the whole properties of this particular details, yeah, I think a delete button can be here, and it will redirect me back to the index page. Or I can add it beside edit, like a button around here. Instead of updating the details, I just click delete, and then to delete the details. So which one do you think will be preferable? Viewing the details and then clicking delete, or editing the details and then clicking delete? I will add it to my edit.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll add it to my edit. So we'll have a button here that represents delete. Yep. But in this case, we can decide to color our button to be red. So in Bootstrap, you just make use of this class btn danger. Danger represents red, and I'll take out my own CSS styling, which is btn. I mean this brand. That was my own. styling. So it's a delete button. Yes. What's the other thing? Justify content center. Okay. I can decide to make this padding X. Okay. Margin to the right can be 2, or let me make it 3. And then Ctrl S and then save, refresh. Margin to the right. Where is margin? Why is margin not working? It is not even right. It's always end. Okay. Exactly. So that is just basically bootstrap styling. So it's nothing special. This ME just simply means margin to the end. I was saying right before, but it's margin to the end. So in this, it's the end is from here to this side, and I made a space of 3. So with this design, I think we are good to go. It's either you update the details here, or clicking delete will delete this particular details, and it will redirect me back to the what, to the index page. So this delete, it's not going to be a submit button. Instead, it could be, yeah, you can make it a delete button. You can make it a button also, but at this point I will make it, hey, an anchor tag. There is a reason for this, but mainly it's just so we can have a location where we want to redirect this to, because we are going to be using SQL. Oh, no, 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 it's not SQL. What's this thing called? We are going to be using query parameters. Yes. So looking at this, I just want to make it direct me to my index.php. Yes. But before it redirects me, it's going to perform one action, and that action is going to be a delete action. So now let me first preview this and look at it. Does it still looks like my button? Yes, it still look like my button, so nothing changed. But clicking on it, it takes me directly towards index.php. So if you remember this code very well, what did you say? Did you say anything? Hello, let me come back here.
No, 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 no. I
I don't
don't
think
think
he's
so.
able to.
You can hear me now, right?
Yeah, he just joined, so I guess he didn't mute his mic or something.
Okay, okay, maybe it's not talking
Yeah.
to me. Okay, so I just zoomed in so that everybody can see this better. I think in the last video, all the codes were looking very tiny, and it was when I was watching it that I realized. So I've zoomed in, and this is just my page, and this is what I was explaining here. So if you remember this code very well, which is for edit, I got the ID from the URL right here. So there is an edit equals to 1 right up here. There's an edit equals to 1 right up here, and then I have it right here that says what, this is the change ID that is gotten from the get method, which is from the URL. So it will get what, edit is not even meant to be edit, guys. It's supposed to be edit ID. It's meant to be edit ID, but you can, since it's a variable name, you can name it anything. So this is edit. So if I should give it something that looks like this, edit ID to be this. Don't let me change that. Let me just leave it the way it is. So I shall know that this edit is signifying an ID, and that edit is equals to this particular ID. Yes, and that is what we got right here. That says get this what, that edit ID to be equals to this was change ID. So then I included my database to what, to update all the details I have concerning this ID, which is what I used here, where ID equals to this particular variable called change ID. So we are going to be making use of a similar query parameter just like we did here for what's it called? Okay, for edit and also for more info. But in this case, we're directing it to the index.php. So specifically, we've declared this what, the variable here. We've declared it up here. So in my delete, I'm simply saying this. That's how to begin a query parameter. Index.php, which is where you want to direct it to. Question mark. This particular page, which is the okay. So I was in delete func. Delete function equals to yes. It can actually be anything. Equals to yes, and and what else? Let me think. Let me think. And the ID equals to something that looks like another PHP here, and then I will have my ID, which is what change ID. Really? Can this be it? Just let's see. Let me save and refresh. Now that it's been refreshed, I'm seeing this down here, this same thing that you're looking at here. So we have is directing me to index.php and then delete function equals to yes and ID equals to 1. So clicking it yes, it takes me back to this index.php, but you can see this delete function right here. Right, so everything I did here now is just pure routing. I've not really given this thing a function. I just gave it a statement to carry along with this with this routing, which is index.php. So yes, it worked. It directed me down to index.php. So I now want to make use of this query parameter in this page, so that that's this function that I just declared will delete this particular thing. So let me see. Back to my edits. Yes, back to my edits. Let me check who we have right here. For all candidates, we have function equals to delete. Okay, ID equals to the ID and function equals to delete. You can actually use this or use, it's just a query parameter. You can make it any statement you want it to be. So what I did was delete equals to function. I will change it to function equals to delete, and my ID equals to this. So basically, in the delete button, this is what actually makes the delete button works, which is if let me come back. I'm coming. So this is still all candidates, this particular page. Okay, so it says if there is a get method that is something up here in the URL that specifies function, that name function, and also that function is now equals to delete. So if you come down here, you will see function equals to delete. That's exactly what we are trying to confirm. If there is a query parameter that says function, yes, and that function is now equals to delete. So those are the two statements that this thing means. If there is a get method for function, that's just the short form. If this is set, yes, and this and statement here, which is double is the ampersand, yes, specify that this must be true and this must be true. That is, this purple bracket that you are seeing must be true, and this other purple bracket you are seeing here also must be true. So if this is true and then this get function is now still equals to delete, yes, then you can now perform this delete button action, which we get the delete ID and get the ID and then perform these query parameters in it. So that's basically it. So in this particular page, yeah, I was saying delete func equals to yes. Yes, we can still make use of this. So we'll just first check if there is a delete function, she gets, and then if that function is now equals to yes. So because I did this to be directed towards to index.php, so all my codes for the delete button will be right here in the index.php. So let me start by confirming first if we have this to be set. So don't forget we have two brackets. Our underscore get function for what? For delete func. Is that the correct spelling? If delete func is set, yes, you first check if delete func is set. Yeah, that's correct. And this is the second bracket. And what? Let me think again. And that delete function dollar underscore get delete func right here is equal to, yep, I think that's it. Voila, I hope this is correct. So this blue bracket is for everything that you have here, yes, and this that we have right here. I just hope I'm not wrong with my bracketing. I hope I'm not. So this purple is for, yes, if this is set and this get function is directly equals to yes, yes, that's when this, let me say, echo delete. So let's see. So let's see how this is gonna work. So coming back here, let me refresh again. And then delete func equals to yes and id equals to 1. Yeah, it echoed it out. Can you see it here? Delete the id. So that means these all parameters that we wrote here is correct. That means the whole parameter that we wrote here is correct. And now we'll have to work on making that query parameter, writing out the query parameter that we have right here. So echo delete the id. So instead of echo delete the id, we're just going to what? Get that id. This particular id to be equals to delete id equals to dollar underscore get right. It gets the id because the id equals to this particular thing. I don't know if you are following, you will get it. So this id equals to this particular thing, which is id1. So everything that we have inside this id1 is what we are getting right here as the id. So you get the id to be equals to this delete id. So now that this is gotten at the id, we can now type our what? SQL code. SQL, which starts with delete. So down in my database, I can come right here and get the details for delete. I was using here products. So it should just be products. So it will just be delete from the product where the ID equals to this particular ID. So down here, I can have this to be this way. So instead of 0, where the ID from the database equals to delete ID. Yep, so delete from the table called product where the ID equals to, we have this delete ID right here. So that is when this is actually going to function. And once this is done, you can now give it a function that it should redirect again back to so page or so. Or we can just leave it on this page and then give it an else statement. Yep. Once this is done, echo success. Okay, if this is, oh yeah, we've not done this. We only type the SQL code, so we have to configure it directly to our database, and it's exactly what we had here. So we just something like this, but this will just be the delete ganga, the delete function. So we have the MySQL connecting the database gotten from this include config.php, and then you are joining it together with this SQL code. And then so if this is now true, that is if this dollar delete here is true, then you can now perform another action, which is something like echo out this product successfully deleted PRODUCT successfully deleted. Yep, something like this. So you can echo this out. Else, echo the 0 in your code. Ah, yep. So we all know that if all these are true, then it will run. And if it's not true, it will continue by reading everything that you have here. So now that it is saved, yep. Let's come back to, okay, it's even right here, our page, and let me refresh by clearing all the stories that I did here. Words. Why did you delete it? Send you message. So yeah, we have this page. It has actually deleted one. We have this page already, and nothing is going to happen if I refresh from now to tomorrow. Nothing is going to happen. But it has deleted because I reload that page when that query parameter was there. So if I'm to browse now, you will see that that particular item is missing, which is the one for ID1 is missing already, is deleted already. So once it's deleted, there's no way you can retrieve that back. So the thing here is, instead of deleting directly, you can make use of JavaScript to confirm if you are sure you want to delete this item or not, so that it will not look like you clicked on the delete button by mistake and then it's just wiped it off. So now in the point of you clicking edit, you see all these stories that you have here. Maybe it's not what you even want. You just want to, particularly delete everything that you need here. So hovering on top of the ID, you can see what you have right down here, that preview. So if you read the query parameters very well, you will know that what we did is actually right. So in the index.php, it's directing us to the index.php, and that is where the direct function is. So it is not necessary that it has to be directed to the index.php. I mean the location for this particular anchor tag does not really have to be in index. It can still be in the same page, but whichever place where that your delete function is, this is what I mean by delete function. this whole thing that we have here is our delete function. Whichever place where you know you want to put it. Right now is in my index. That is the reason why I specified it in my delete button, which is right here. That should take me to index.php and then give this query parameter there because sorry, because that is where I want to make use of my query parameters. Yes. So at the same time, you can still add it in this edit.php. Let me show you how that is done. So in this edit.php, now it will what you make use of this query parameter delete func equals to yes and the id equals to this id. So upon saving, let me now cut everything that we have here because definitely the code has to be in this edit.php. So let me think of it. Let me put it right here. So in this case, I'll just specify that this is delete button. I prefer doing this so that anytime I'm coming back to my code, I will understand what I've written. And then this one is for updates. This is an update button. Yeah. So as for this delete button now, what are you saying? I said if this is set, which is a delete function is set, and then we have a get id, get, and we have a delete function. Okay. If delete function is set and that delete function equals to yes, then get the what? The get id. Get the id, which is part of what we wrote in our query parameter, to be equals to the delete id, and then perform this SQL query. Delete from product where id equals to delete id. Yes, where id equals to delete id. So that delete id, this delete now just confirms this my SQL query, compare it, like merge it together with this database. So the SQL together with the database. So you can just put these all two things in a single line. That one is not hard. So once this is done, if delete is done, instead of echoing product successfully deleted, you can give it your header location. So you get, once this delete function is done, we can specify our header location header, and then into brackets we have our capital letter LOCATION, and then we have this header location could be index dot php, something like this. Why does it look like this is wrong? Okay, let me confirm that from here. Everything has to be in that. Yep, yep, yep. Yep, yep. So header location will take me back to index.php. Else echo that there is an error in your code in this particular page. Yep, let's see if that works. Let me take it back. Let me refresh. So my index is working fine. And then this is what id2. You can see it. Clicking on edit id2, edit equals to 2. That's the reason why you can still edit this. And if you want to edit it, you just click on update. But in this case, you want to delete. So upon clicking delete, it takes me back to what index.php without that particular product number 2 anymore. You can see clicking on hovering on this, you can see the ID is what 3 directly. So checking this, let me come back to my browse. You realize ID2 is missing. So now we are back to ID3, 4, 5, 6. So that's what we have left. And if I want to add another one, I can just decide to what, click on add.php, and everything is back to the whole process of adding, deleting, and subtracting. So that is just basically it. It's not hard at all. It's not hard at all. This is just a function for the delete, and you can maneuver it whichever way you want. You can see the first example I gave, I directed it down to index.php. That is when the delete function will work. But in this case, it's actually working right here in the same edit page, and immediately after deleting, it will take us back to what header location, because if we not do anything here, it will give you an error, because after deleting this particular product, why would there still be an edit for that particular product? So everything here will fall into an error. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. If our delete works and we did not direct it to the index, Okay, let me just even show you this rather than even explaining. You realize that we've deleted ID 2. Now imagine from our URL, I just input ID 2 and then click enter. You can see there is an error here because it is trying to access the array of set for that ID 2, which is not available anymore from the database. And then there is a warning here. Hope you guys are still following, and so on. So basically, you have to redirect it. You have to redirect it to another page entirely. Hope you get that. The rain is about to fall here, so I'm thinking my voice is breaking or so.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I wanted to.
I'm listening.
Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Hello?
Hello, can anybody else hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Because I can hear him.
Yeah, I can hear you, boss. I can hear you, boss.
Okay.
Can anybody else hear me? Because I can hear him. Yeah, I can hear him.
Okay, so
I don't know. It seems he has a question to ask, but he has not been able to ask it yet. His network is
hello?
probably slow. So. I don't know. We can hear you. We can hear you. So please, do we have any question to ask? Do you have any question concerning this?
Okay, I'm here.
Um, excuse me, boss. Well,
Okay.
I think I have a question. Good question. Um, I think in a situation whereby after the registration successfully and the login successfully, is there a way whereby you can make a function whereby to display the name of a particular user that is being logged in, just to specify, okay, oh, this is so 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 person that has logged in. I don't know if you get my question.
Okay. So you want to be getting a kind of notification that so person logged in, right?
Maybe just maybe there are some websites whereby maybe they will ask you to register or log in at the top. So
Mm.
maybe in a situation whereby you get logged in already, so your name just have to show somewhere to indicate that, okay, oh, you've successfully logged in. I don't
Okay.
know if you
Yeah,
get me.
that can be done using sessioning. So there is something called session, and I use it here in this particular code. So you can see this session that you can see here. Let me zoom in. This session starts that you see right here is something that has to do with getting the name of someone, not just name, all the details about the particular person that logged in. So if yeah, can you see? We have session for success, we have section for success here. What other thing again? I made this a session in getting the people's details. So let me just give you an example of how it displays right here. I'm trying to remember the name of the project. It's not PHP localhost slash. Zero beta assessment index. I don't have this anymore. Let me check. I don't know where I saved this. So it's not a Laravel project. It has to be down here. Assessment. Okay. So anybody that logs in here, I've even forgotten all this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that was it. Okay. Okay. So it works. Uh-huh. So this is what you mean. Something like this that will display the person name, right?
Yes, yes, exactly.
That will display the person's name. Something like this. So it's just what you are saying now that will just be like, okay, welcome to this particular person that just logged in, right?
Yes.
So instead of you can make use of session, and we'll still explain that. We'll explain that, or you can decide to still, get the person's name directly from the database, since you already have the ID of the person that just logged in. But that's not really a conventional way of doing it. So it's best you just make use of what's it called? This sessioning that I just specified here. So I think the session started from not all officers, not all officers, but it started all the way from the login, the place where you log in. So let me say admin login. Exactly. So this admin login now, what it does here is that for this sessioning, it gets, okay, let's take it started from here. If session ID and the session role is set, okay, then session role equals to admin, okay, other location, admin index, then exit, okay. If this particular details, okay, okay, okay. So it is more like you are confirming what the person has just imputed from that admin page, that page where I just imputed admin@gmail.com and then the password. That point where I was trying to log in. So it selects all that we have from the admin where the person's email equals to the email that you've just imputed and the person password equals the password that you've just imputed. So once that is being compared already, then it's now what try and get all the details about that particular person and save it as admin. So if this admin is true, that is yes, that all these things are correct. Email equals to the email the person imputed and then the password equals to the password the person imputed. If this is true, then save that admin ID as what session ID and save the person's admin name. I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying. Save the person's name from the database. Oh, save the person's name as what session name and then save the person the role as admin. Forget about this one. So what I just did here is I
Omo,
took.
I can't really hear you, boss. I can't really hear you because
Okay,
it's
okay,
skipping. I don't know if it's your
okay.
network or something.
So I don't know. We'll still talk about session in subsequent class. I don't know when, but just try and get to understand this particular one for delete first. Try and understand the one for
Okay.
delete and make good use
Alright,
of it.
boss.
You get that? So that's basically it. We have we've done edits, we've done updates, we've done deletes, and we've done read. So we've treated CRUD operation, which is the CRUD operation. We can create. Create is what we used in that form, in this particular form, which is this add a product. So it's a create function that we have here, and then and the create function in our database is what we call insert, where we inserted something into the database, right? And then we've done read. To read is to select from the database, because you are selecting it and you're outputting it right in our index.php. So that is the read operation that we have here. And we have U, which is updates. Updates is what we have here by getting all the details that we have from the database and still submitting it again back to the database that, okay, all these thing update is right here. And it was this function we made use of, update. And then we've done D, which stands for delete. So this delete does this particular function, which is delete from products, where so data equals to so data. So we already have our query parameter here, which shows that this particular ID for this particular edit is 3, and deleting it will take us to the index.php without that ID details anymore. So we've done CRUD operation using MySQL, and we already have everything that we need to learn. Not everything, sha, but this is just the basics of MySQL database. So later on we'll talk about how you can configure, you can set up two different tables and make use of them. You can make them what be relative to the other, that is one can be dependent in on the other table, and how you can get data from those tables. So aside from the CRUD operation, which is the select, insert, update and delete, there are still several other functions that you can do, like alter, to alter the table. And there is something called delete. I've forgotten what it is, but that one will delete everything that you have in this particular table. It will delete all the IDs. And there are still several other things, sha, that you still get to what, to learn. But for now, let's please work on this particular one, this basic CRUD operation, please. So any question? Any question?
Okay. I have one question. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So the delete function, can it be set in such a way whereby, let's say, you probably hand this over to like an admin of the company that's in charge of this, maybe they delete something. Can it be done in such a way whereby if you delete from the website, yes, it shows that it has been deleted, but from the
Hmm.
database is not like removed in case there might be a mistake or something. I don't know if
Yeah.
you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. So it's like every other user can delete, just like what we have here, but the delete is not totally deleted from the database. It's just removed from what they can see right here, right?
Exactly.
So yeah, so there are several ways that you can do this, but what I basically know that you can, what I am sure of that is possible, is you adding a column that represents the status of this particular details. You can add a status to it, so that status will just contain probably active or deleted. I don't know if you get that. So the table will just probably have two inputs, which is what, active, 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 for all the ones that you know that are still active. And then you can now specify it that, okay, if this particular column for status is deleted, then it will not appear in your index.php. So
Mm.
what that just means is that in the point of we deleting, which removes everything that we have from the database, delete from this, it will just be alter the table. Instead of deleting, it will alter that table, or I mean change the details. It's just like you're updating. Instead of deleting, we just update the status of this particular ID to be deleted. So once the status is already updated to us to deleted, it's until we do it before we'll be able to understand. But just try and interpret this, that if the status is already updated to what, to deleted in the database, then I can now add a kind of function in my index.php at the point of selecting all. Select all from products, order by ID, where, so I can just have this kind of thing where our status, eh, kí ni mo tẹ̀ yìí? where our column for status is not equals to deleted, something like this, or is equal to, instead of deleted I can just say active. So this particular active is just like a variable saved in a column, another column in the database that is called status. I hope that has answered your question.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
Yes. So it is fetching all the data they have from the database, but it's not all totally. It is just like selecting the ones that are meant to be displayed, that is the ones that are active. But it's now the admin end, the admin side, that will now be able to see those ones that their status are what deleted already from the database. So they will have access to, probably totally deleting those ones that their status is already what deleted, or they can decide to bring it back. Instead of deleting them totally, you just change the status from deleted to what to active. So it will bring it back to the page, something like that. So I think I'm very sure, I believe that there are several other ways that can be done, but that is what I believe in right now. So any other question? Any other question? So I think that's all. That'll be all for tonight's class. It's almost an hour. Wait, it's even up to an hour already, and this thing has not cancelled. Our live stream, I don't know if it has cancelled. So take care, guys. And please let's practice this so that our next week we'll be able to work on something different aside from the crude operation. We'll be looking into making PHP, using PHP to make this form very active. So everything that we did on this form now are just basic things. They are not really something that is interactive. Immediately I just click all this. Imagine, even if I don't input anything here, it still submits. Something like that. Did you even just submit? It's not meant to submit now. See, imagine. It's not meant to submit. So we can give it some special effects using regex formats to filter out some things in PHP, using PHP actually. So that will be an advanced class for PHP. That's what we're going to move on to in our next class. So thanks for listening, and thanks for coming. So take care guys. Bye bye. Let me end this.